What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I wanted to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla SPY, and the overall markets. I'm going to break down what's happening with the news coming out for tomorrow, as Donald Trump may be announcing some new policy changes, not to mention new changes to the views of NIO stock. But just know that I am not a financial planner. Take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposits $2,000, you're guaranteed 30. Anyways, today is Super Bowl Sunday, and it's the last day before we start to see the market open again tomorrow. Just know that for today, there's not really a whole lot that's going on, at least on the news for NIO, but there is going to be some stuff that's very important for tomorrow I want to go over. Right now, NIO is in a range. As we hit the 4.1 to 4.2 area, we tend to hold up, and we tend to get these rejections near 4.5, so we're just trading completely sideways for now. Now, there could be a much bigger move coming as time goes on, but for the time being, NIO is very much just stuck, not really doing a whole lot. Now, there's some news coming out on their Twitter page where they're talking about their ET5 being designed for different terrains, which I think is great. And besides that, JP Morgan gave them a neutral rating. Despite that, they did mention that they have some downwards revisions for their prior forecasts. They do believe that their revenue expectation has gone down a little bit, and they're seeing about a 50% increase in their overall volume in terms of sales at about 334,000 units. Still not too bad, but that's not as much as what NIO is expecting at a 440,000 units delivery rate. So we'll see if they end up achieving 440,000 deliveries or if it's closer to 340,000. I'm hoping for a big scale, especially as they open up their next factory. We'll be waiting for that as well. NIO is also introducing the ET9, the high-end premium sedan, which should help their sales begin to go up. I hope that's going to be a very, very big competitor, and I hope they start to offset some of the risks, at least so far. But just know that as far as the market is going, tomorrow there's not really much data coming out. I didn't see too much news that's too significant for NIO. We have consumer expectations at 11 o'clock a.m., so we'll see what that leads to. And besides that, everything else is still very, very minor. But there is one thing that's worth mentioning, and that is the fact that Donald Trump has announced that he's going to be making these tariff announcements this week about what he's going to be doing with the rest of them. Will we see a flat rate for many different countries? Will he give different rates for different countries, and which countries are going to be included? We'll find out on what his next plans are, which could cause a lot more volatility in the markets. The U.S.'s bigger trade partners are all over here at the top. They included these so far. But we'll have to see if Japan, India, many European countries and such are all going to be included or not. This will have an effect on our GDP and inflation, so keep that in mind. That's why we're going to likely see what ends up happening as time goes on. So please be very careful with all of this going on. On top of this, just know that McDonald's and Monday.com all have earnings, before market open. And besides that, there's nothing else that's too crazy. So going into the markets, what Donald Trump says will affect the markets. If he starts announcing that they're going to increase tariffs on Japan, on South Korea, on the EU, that's going to cause a little bit of downside for the markets for the short term, but then the market will bounce afterwards. So just to be frank, I think NIO is going to make a move like this where if we're trying to base here for me like this inverse head and shoulders, will be an attempt to rebound back up towards this gap area, back up towards about 4.4. And then after Trump makes his announcement, if he makes it on Monday or Tuesday, then this might come right back down, and we could just continue to trade sideways in this range. We've been doing this for the last couple of months, not really moving, guys. We've been stuck within a very tight range between 4.1 and 4.8 for the last almost 3 months. So NIO is very much just tight right now, hasn't broken any direction, at least so far, and we're just completely stuck. So we have to give it more time to develop. However, for others out there, we have SPY. SPY does look a little bearish. We tend to reject off 608 to 610. That's happened multiple times. And in this case, if we do get some kind of rebound like this, once Trump makes his announcement, this could cause a bigger dip again. So look for a little rebound tomorrow morning, a little bit of a bounce towards like 602 to 603. And then we'll see if Trump makes his announcement, that could cause another move back down towards 595 to 590. We'll be watching a move back down. But just know the last time we hit 590, we got 3 bounces off this, 3 bounces so far. So if we get close to that zone again, I'll be looking for a bounce back up just like this as the most likely possibility. That's what I'm seeing for now. Once Trump's announcement comes out, that may cause some more volatility in the markets. Same thing with the QQQ. Look for a little rebound towards 523 to 525. And then if we can't hold that, if Trump makes his announcements about the tariffs, that might cause a temporary downside, a retest of like 517 or below. Then we'll see if we get a bounce after that. So watch that very, very closely as the most likely possibility. On the Russell 2000, we could be retesting 226, and we'll see if we get a rejection back down to 222. Keep that in mind as well. ES, it's trying to hold its 200 EMA, so that's a good sign for a little rebound tomorrow, back up to about 60, 80 or so, a couple of points before we see a move like this. But overall, it's still in a channel. It's still forming a large flag right over here, so I think we're going to be completely fine despite that. But a move like that looks very, very possible depending on what Trump ends up announcing. Same thing with NQ. We'll watch and see if we get a little rebound here before it continues to fall like this, and we'll see if buyers defend or not, so just keep that in mind. Bitcoin's doing the same thing. It's on a bit of a downtrend. It's trying to base at 95,000. It might test 95,000 again. We'll see if we get a bounce or not. On Nvda, we're trying to push higher. Trump's tariffs may affect this, so we'll have to wait and see what he announces. But even if he does announce an increase in Taiwanese tariffs or something, so long as we don't end up losing like 125, this could just be a temporary dip before it tries to bounce and continue to push up for 132. Eventually, this gap fill like this. So it's still going to be fine. Even if we dip a little lower towards like 120, this still resembles an inverse head and shoulders, and the share price will remain bullish, even if we do get some kind of small dip. So keep that in mind, guys. For others out there, we have Tesla. It's on a bit of a downtrend. It's rejected pretty hard. They do have a bunch of pre-orders for the Model Y that have been announced, so I'm hoping we get some kind of bounce soon. Might dip a little bit more, just a bit more before it sees some kind of bounce like this. A little bit of a rebound. Maybe after Trump's tariffs, we do dip a little lower again like this. And then we'll see this thing base very, very soon. Right down to fill this gap, we could try to base into the 340s. The low 350s to 340s is where we could base before we see a much nicer bounce again once the tariffs are priced in. So I'm looking for a move like this as the most likely possibility, at least for Tesla, just for the time being. For Aapl, it's on a bit of a downtrend, kind of rejecting off this wedge. I want to see if this could hold above our key supports. If not, this could be dipping towards 226. So it might be a small rebound before it continues to dip like this, so I'd be watching that very, very closely. For a few more, we have Coin. Coin's on a bit of a downtrend. We have to see if this could break past resistance at 282. I'm thinking that it's going to do something like this where it pushes and dips a little bit more once the tariff announcement comes out, and then we could be looking for a much larger bounce, at least for the time being. For Amazon, we look a little bit more bearish now. We're forming like a distributive structure. We also have a bearish divergence that developed right over here, and this may be rebounding on Monday before it dips a little bit lower towards the mid 220s. So just keep that in mind. Meta may also dip towards 704, and we'll see if we bounce off this or not. But watch for a small dip here, and we'll see what kind of reaction we get. For Microsoft, we have a double top here, kind of dipping a bit. We're looking for 408s and then eventually the low 400s as our supports, and we'll see if we bounce or not. On Google, we got a rejection here, so we'll have to see if we could get back above our support. We might be dipping closer to about that 183 area, so please be very careful with this big rejection. And we'll see if we get some kind of rebound like this first before it continues to fall, so give this some time. We'll see what kind of reaction we get. With that being said, guys, that's what I'm seeing, at least for now. The VIX is looking like it's getting a break right here. We're at some tough resistance, so what I suspect will happen is we might see a little bit of a dip. That means the market might rebound just a little bit, but then if this breaks on more, there could be a bigger pullback before the VIX forms a top again. So get ready, guys, for a little bit more downside that could be coming. We might rebound first before the downside comes. Same thing with NIO. It's been basing very nicely, showing some resilience, hoping for a rebound for 4.3 to 4.4 for a temporary push up. But unfortunately, in all honesty, the share price is just stuck. We've been stuck in very tight ranges for many, many months. And we're going to likely continue this, unfortunately, until we get a very, very big catalyst. So that's my honest assessment for now. We have to be very patient for a much larger move. Until I see you guys again, I thank you all so much for listening, and peace out.